Opening the episode with Mike cleaning Eleven's face like my mom after I've just conquered a double fudge banana split with marshmallows and whipped cream. But this touching gesture of face touching was probably not necessary since there's a mirror. Snog blocking. Also, writing in your own skip doesn't excuse the fact that a skip was needed.
The bad men are coming!
Thing the Stranger Things kids thought when they saw us getting ready to send the show somehow makes its way into this episode. Kids. The kids resolve all their issues and get the band back together in the first 5 minutes because they've realized they're stronger as a team and share a bond forged in the crucible that is grade school. But also it's the penultimate episode and they need to set up the finale. If you're already inside the police station, this seems a bit redundant.
There's something you need to see.
You'd better come take a look at this cliche.
What happened to her hair?
Being more concerned about Eleven's hair than Matthew Modine's. Wasting time building a model to describe a fenced-in plot of land next to a road with a building on it.
And this is the lab right here.
Lucas, that's a can. Circling, 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 still circling.
You risked your life. And Nancy's.
To be fair, going after the creature was Nancy's idea in the first place. Jonathan is a high school kid, meaning he just happens to do less thinking with his top brain and more thinking with the brain in his upside down. He probably cares about his brother and stuff too. Yeah, I'm sure it's more than that boner thing.
What is your name, deputy?
Asking for the name of a person wearing a name tag. It looks less likely these agents are collecting evidence and more likely they're planning a sleepover. The events of this season are supposed to have taken place in 1983, but Great American Ghost Stories by Hans Holzer wasn't published until 1990, and the dinosaurs went extinct about 65 million years ago. I'm definitely sending this ridiculous ladder placement. I get they had to get the stuff on the other side cleaned up as well, but now they're at a point where the ladder needs to be moved at least to the middle of the slut and wheeler. How's Steve going to get any elbow grease into his cleaning routine from this angle?
We should be out there looking for him.
Honey, we have to trust them, okay?
Stranger Things does a pretty great job of having all the 80s goodness mixed in with some really interesting character work. So why did Ted Wheeler have to be a walking believes the government is always there to help you idiot father cliche?
Lando Calrissian.
Show thinks it's going to get away with us not pointing out that Dustin is pointing at the person of color in this scene while pointing out the person of color in another scene. And this is now a Spider-Man sin. I never noticed how closely this part of the score resembled John Carpenter, and now the scene is giving off series Halloween 3 vibes. I don't know whether to remove a sin for the Carpenter-ness of it all or add a sin because, well, you know, Halloween 3. So I'll add 5, because I'm me. Hopper subdues these 3 intimidatingly well-dressed agents very quickly and entirely off-screen, so the sin is for all style and no substance.
Is that my dress?
Everyone in this show is way too concerned about Eleven's hairstyle and what she's wearing. Mike claims to be explaining the upside down, but this drawing looks more like a person standing on the horizon next to a gopher hole.
I can find them in the bath.
Show proves that vague posts were not an original idea formed in the days of social media, and were actually preceded by vague comments like this.
Anything about sensory deprivation tanks? Specifically how to build one?
Mr. Clark appears to have the physical characteristics of a science teacher, but the show thinks he's a DuckDuckGo. And for those of you who have no idea what I just said, it's the same thing as a Google.
Why are you keeping this curiosity door locked?
I'm more curious as to why Dustin or any student has Mr. Clark's home phone number, even for the 80s. That's fucking weird.
Do you still have that kiddie pool we bobbed for apples in?
Admitting to bobbing for apples. Admitting to bobbing for anything, really. Using de-icing salt instead of Epsom salt. This show is a dick to Eleven's skin. Now that we're almost to the end of the season, it appears all characters have acquired enough XP to activate the squad boost on all talents, enabling everyone to complete their tasks in record time. Just like the saying goes, teamwork makes the nightmare stop.
Hey, wait. It's not gonna snow next week, is it?
Worst case, no school.
I feel like that was missing something. Cindy, run that back and hit him with the good stuff.
Hey, wait. It's not gonna snow next week, is it?
Worst case, no school.
Perfect! Why was it necessary to set this up in the middle of the gymnasium? Even if they had to come to school for equipment and supplies, why the very middle of the gym and not at least a little closer to your water source? Black voids with wet floors. I assume Ernest and Hansel Duffer killed off Barb to raise the stakes, but we weren't watching the show for stakes. We were watching it for the 80s nostalgia and the triumphant return of Barb. I demand justice.
It's okay.
I realize you just witnessed something horrifying that will probably haunt you for the rest of your life and you'll never get a good night's sleep again, but I really need you to concentrate on my son. Nancy will be able to make new friends. Hey, so Bobby, what are you thinking as far as making the Castle Buyers Fort look creepy in the upside down? Well, I just have one question for you, Hank. Have you ever wondered what it would look like if Swamp Thing burped the worm all over the place? Burped the worm, Bobby? You know, sprayed the pajama glue, circumjaculated the globe, spilled his Brogurt sundae, squeezed the... Okay, Bobby, I get it. Just order the mayonnaise and never speak to me again. I guess because we're in the last few minutes of the show, Jonathan is suddenly capable of sneaking in and out of the police station unnoticed. After that tense episode, I'm glad I can take a break from this show. Never mind. Guess I'm clearing my schedule for the next hour.
I asked for a Mai Tai, and they brought me a pina colada, and I said no salt for the margarita, but it had salt on it.
Why is he wearing handcuffs?
You two suck at peddling meth.
What happened to her hair?
Weak follicles, Leroy.
I understand how upsetting this is.
All I care about is, are you happy with your haircut?
Hey, what's your problem, man?
Even smiling makes my face ache.
Did I catch a niner in there? Were you calling from a walkie-talkie?
Maybe you're right. Maybe this is all a trap.
It's a trap!
I have a science question.
Nerd!
Do you know anything about sensory deprivation tanks? Specifically how to build one?
I don't know who the f*** you are, but you have no idea what you're doing.